We discuss the test results of the new Hyundai Veloster Sports Coupe, talk about the GM plant closures and what it means for consumers, and answer your questions. Next on Talking Cars. Hi everyone and welcome back to another episode. I'm John Lincove.
I'm Jake Fisher.
And I'm Ryan Pizlakowski.
And we're now back in the facility. A couple lucky people went out to warm LA, Dave and Andrew and some of the others. But we're here in the cold and we've got a lot of news because a lot of stuff happened last week. One big thing is that GM announced that it'll be discontinuing 6 vehicles and they're just gonna shut down operations, right, Jake?
Yeah. So a bunch of the vehicles, bunch of the cars.
Yeah. Oh, the cars. Just
the cars.
Not
Some
not
of the cars.
everything.
No, they're not.
Okay.
They're not completely shut down. So, yeah, you got the list there, right?
I have got the list, and it's going to be 3 Chevys. So the Cruze, small compact car, the Impala, large sedan, the Volt, hybrid electric, and then also the Buick LaCrosse, which is a large sedan, and the Cadillac CT6 and XTS. So again, two bigger sedans. So it's kind of a theme.
So the question is, what does this mean? Does this mean that GM going away? Does this mean that GM is, not doing so well? I mean, what this really means is that GM is shifting, and actually the whole auto industry is shifting.
Right.
It's really about SUVs now, and not so much the cars. So what's happening is, look, we well, you know this very well. I mean, you cover the special publications.
Hang out with you, so I
know.
know.
But it's like, at Consumer Reports, I mean, we cover a lot of models, right? It's close to 300 models that we're covering information on.
Yep.
And when you put together your special publications, I mean, you just keep on growing, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we've got these new segments. We've got small SUVs, we got subcompact SUVs, we got small luxury SUVs, we got subcompact luxury SUVs.
Yes.
And they keep on adding these new models.
And they're filling in niches that they didn't have,
Right.
Because that's where they can incrementally add sales.
And what's happening is because people are kind of shifting in what they're buying. I mean, we put out that article talking about like small SUVs. Small SUVs is the new family sedan.
Right.
I mean, you're looking for a car for your family. You're buying a CRV, Honda CRV. You're not buying a Accord
Impala,
quite as much.
or even
so,
more practical, yeah.
So when you look at General Motors, and Ford did very similar, and Fiat
Right.
Chrysler did similar things.
This isn't a surprise. Ford already did this a little bit. Chrysler's done this a little bit.
Right.
And
They got rid of the Dart.
We've talked about sedans slowly dying. I mean, maybe it'll come back someday, but right now it's not. And it's the little SUVs taking over.
Well, one of the questions is, okay, first of all, Ryan, parts availability. People are worried that, they're going to close some of the factories. Lordstown is a huge factory that's been around for decades. Mm-hmm. Does that mean they're not going to get parts for the cars?
No, there's still going to be parts. I mean, this is GM. It's a big company.
Yep.
And there's a lot of cars still out there, so they're going to be making parts. I wouldn't worry about that at all.
Right. I think that they have to keep parts for 12 years,
Right.
access for people.
There's kind of a dirty little secret about where they make money actually about the cars. And they actually make more money on those parts than they do on selling the cars new.
Right.
So the truth is that if there's money, I mean, look, there's going to be a whole bunch of, these cars are out there in the field.
Yeah. Sure.
There's money to be made, so absolutely they're going to support these cars.
And with such a huge company, there's overlap in use of the parts too. So it's not as if they're all of a sudden saying, okay,
Sure.
so the Impala's done, we won't make any part whatsoever that's part of the, quote unquote, part of the Impala.
There's shared platforms. These powertrains are going to live off into other vehicles. One of the cars, the CT6, Cadillac CT6, we've mentioned a lot because it's got the Cadillac Super Cruise system. That system's going to live on in other vehicles, other Cadillacs, other General Motors vehicles.
Just touch on the driver assistance program. The advanced driver assistance programs of
it's failing quick.
Exactly.
It's getting worse.
It's the cold weather. But just explain it and make sure people understand what it is.
Yeah, it's not semi-autonomous is what you want to say, because everyone calls it. There's no autonomous.
Advanced is what the word was I was thinking.
But it's automation. Yep. So it's a vehicle automation system. It automates steering the wheel and doing the speed control without your hands on the wheel because it's got eye tracking monitor. Kind of innovative. We say it's pretty good. Mm-hmm. It is really good. But that is going to live on in other products, just like a lot of the other technologies that are on these vehicles. Right. They're going to be elsewhere.
So Ryan, you put a ton of these through on-road testing. Mm-hmm. And aside from the Impala, is this really going to be a huge loss for the consumer? The Impala's a top-rated. It's been a top pick. I mean, we're super impressed by it. What about the other ones?
They're less impressive, but I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal, to be honest with you. I mean, people are going to miss the Impala. The name Impala has been around for how long? A long time, right? People are going to maybe miss
decades
that.
and decades.
Yeah, and I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal. The Volt, I don't know. people are going to miss the Volt.
I missed the CT6. The CT6 was a nice driving
yeah,
car,
CT6 was
but
nice,
but I
right.
mean, I think again, everything they've learned in that is going to live on in other vehicles.
Yeah, and again, it's where the market's moving. They are leaving a lot to, say, Toyota Lexus is going to still have sedans. You know, there's some Honda, but Honda never played in the big category.
But
Hyundai really may benefit with some sedan sales.
But look, sedans are going to be around. I mean, there are a lot. It's not just Honda and Toyota. It's Mazda. It's Hyundai. It's Kia. I mean, there's a lot of other choices. It's a very crowded market.
Right.
You look at the domestics.
Yeah.
They're obviously making more money in trucks.
right.
They're making more competitive trucks. It's a business decision.
Oh, totally a business
Yeah.
decision. So we're going to see, and be interesting to see how it moves on. If they're going to keep the plans, put more stuff in there, or just we're going to bring in some different vehicles from overseas. We're going to move on because we're talking about an interesting vehicle, not a sedan, but a three-door, the Hyundai Veloster.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Three-door, what could it be?
A three-door, right, and not the hatchback. So it's not
right.
So it's a four-door, actually,
It's
right?
it's 4 doors, flap for the gas, 5 doors, maybe a little door.
3 3/4.
Okay, so let's just we'll call it a 3-door hatchback. So Ryan, the Hyundai Veloster, which we just finished through our entire test regimen,
Right.
it impressed us in testing in one really particular way.
Yeah, the little Hyundai that could. It actually broke our record speed at Avoidance Maneuver, just over 60 miles per hour, which is unheard of.
Faster than
Our Porsche 911, Boxster, even an FRS with like some super tires on it.
Right.
Well, this comes this way from the factory, the Veloster, with really good tires on it.
Right. Can
as
you
well.
explain what that is? Because it's they're all seasons, but they're
They're
not
summer
cheater
tires.
tire.
They're
okay.
straight up summer tires. So you're not, once the winter rolls around, you're not going to be driving this car without snow tires.
Right, because they don't have the summer tires just don't have the compounded grip as well.
Right, yeah, they'll turn into hockey pucks basically. But this car has tremendous tires on it. It's a small car. They tune the stability like none other. I mean, it's the stability control. It just tickles the car right through the course without any issues. It's easy to drive. I was blown away by it. I mean, the last Veloster didn't impress me. This one impresses me for sure.
I mean, avoidance maneuver. I mean, let's kind of get down into what that is, right?
Right.
I mean, this is this double lane change where you kind of go out, you take the hard left and you take the hard right. And it's what's interesting about it, it's a measure of emergency handling, it's a measure of how high the performance is in terms of handling. And it's
Right.
one of the few measures that we have. It's actually a number. It's a measured number. We'd actually put these, it's not a subjective feel.
Right.
This is a hard number.
We measure the speed with a laser.
It's
we use
very
two
precise.
lasers that we were within a tenth or two of a mile per hour accurate.
So I mean, we've been
accuracy-wise,
doing
yeah.
this for a very long time,
Right.
and to again beat all of these vehicles over the
Right,
years
right.
is just amazing. We put 911s, we put
Right.
Well,
we put the Lotus Elise, we put Boxsters. I mean,
It's a nimble little car on a great platform.
Yeah.
Because it's based on the Elantra GT, which did well, not that well.
Well,
but
let's talk about the GT. It
Yeah.
just gets complicated too, which is not the Hyundai Elantra. It's
Right.
the Hyundai Elantra GT, which isn't just like a hatchback version of it. It's a completely different platform.
Different car, yeah.
And it's really kind of one of these vehicles that I think is really more designed for like the European market. It kind of drives more like a Golf than some of the other competitors. So it just feels very substantial. So it went from the Veloster. I was a big fan of the last generation. I think maybe I was in the minority on that.
Yeah.
But I mean,
It was a fine car. It was a nice little car.
The old Veloster was really, it was based on it was like a Hyundai Accent, right?
Right.
It was a very small car. I kind of thought of it like as kind of a modern day Honda CRX. It's like you take kind of your
Which
your
everyone
small,
asks for constantly. Why can't they build a new CRX?
Right.
So
well, that's
you're
what it
telling them,
was. It was kind of like a small, cheap car that was made kind of sporty.
Right.
This is kind of a different animal. So this is kind of like maybe it's a Volkswagen, Corrado or Volkswagen Scirocco. It's kind of like
Yeah.
it's more up level, more substantial, and just unbelievable
Yes,
capability.
the car is a little bigger. It doesn't feel bigger when you're driving it. I mean, it's nimble. I mean, it's a
You could slot
fun
it in.
little car. Yeah.
But
And
there's one aspect. I'm stepping on you there.
No,
but
you're right.
Honda Civic Si-ish
Mm-hmm.
because of the transmission.
So this has it's a manual, 6-speed manual, and it's really slick. I think we were impressed with how well this thing shifts. Feels really nice. Arguably better than the Civic Si. I mean, it's really nice. I was blown away by it.
There's no question it's better.
Right.
I mean, look, Honda transmissions have been amazing.
Yeah.
This is better than the current Civic Si.
Yeah.
It's kind of a little bit
clunky,
of clunky,
yeah.
a little bit
This
clunky.
is pretty slick,
This is
yeah.
slick. I mean, that's right up there with the best, Mazda. I mean, this is,
Yep.
they've really figured it out.
Yeah.
But you weren't. I found it really fun to drive. My feet didn't fit on the clutch a
Yes.
little. There's a little bar. You know, you're a little taller.
Yeah, I'm tall. I
was
have
it
big
for you?
feet, so I had a little trouble from the dead pedal, moving my foot from the dead pedal to the clutch. There
Right.
was something there. I don't know what it was, but I was having trouble. I hooked my feet on it. I
Your
couldn't get.
underfoot, was that?
Yeah, I couldn't get quite comfortable in it. It's not, it's not the best driving position for me, but it was fun enough to, to overlook that.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, the one thing is that, we talked about, unlike a lot of coupes, so, a Civic Si coupe or BRZ, Subaru BRZ, the Honda FRS, Toyota FRS, excuse me, is that you don't have a compromise for the rear seat. The rear seat's small. It's not a big seat, but you're not forcing someone to, cut their head over the shoulder belt to climb in because of that third door.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
We're using 2 Toyota 86s for tire testing this year, and you can't put your arm between the front seat and the edge of the back seat. There's no leg room at all. So this car has room.
Right.
There is some
There
room.
is a little
back
room.
there.
My kids are in the
yeah.
back.
This
yeah.
isn't a Civic Si. This
Right.
isn't, like a full size. But I mean, again, it's got some functionality, right?
Right.
I mean, I could go and,
GTI-ish.
well, I mean, look, I could go drop off my kid at school and he could get out the rear door.
Right,
I
yeah.
mean, you can't do that when you have a coupe. It just gets really, you got to walk around and fiddle with
Yeah.
the seat and all that stuff.
Right. And the seat never goes back to where you had it. And,
Very true. Very true. Well, that's online. We really did enjoy it. It's kind of a dying breed of cars. They're not if they're not building sedans, they're definitely not building small sporty cars. So
Right,
it's
right.
one to look for. If you're in that category, definitely consider it. It's got the great Hyundai infotainment system too. Oops.
Yeah, which is also kind of a dying breed.
Yeah,
I mean, just
exactly.
something that works really well and it's
Yeah.
simple and it's got CarPlay and Android Auto and
Yeah.
yeah.
It's a great. They did get it right. Second generation of a car they got right versus watering down.
Sure.
We're going to use this opportunity now to move over to our questions. We got a ton of questions. In fact, our backlog is insane. Keep sending them on, particularly the video questions, to talkingcars@icloud.com. We really want those video questions as well. The first one comes in, and it's from Bill H. He says, "Hi there, I'm a Toyota lover and have been driving my 2009 Toyota Matrix without any problems for the past 10 years. It's a pretty reliable car anyway. I've been pretty much settled on a 2016 to 18 Toyota RAV4 as my next vehicle, but I'm on the fence between the hybrid or the regular model. Fuel economy of the hybrid looks great, but I need to replace the battery in the time I own the car. I'd like to keep it for at least 10 years and pass it on to my now 8-year-old son." So it's kind of like an early Christmas gift. He's going to find out that he's getting a 10-year-old car. But what do you think? RAV4 hybrid or the manual? The regular one?
I wouldn't have any qualms about getting the hybrid RAV.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing about it is, I mean, okay, yes, there's more complexity and you got the battery and whatnot, but the history of Toyota hybrids is just solid.
Very, very
I
good.
mean, it's very similar to the system that Toyota launched, close to 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And we have a lot of history about this system in Priuses and other vehicles, and it has been pretty bulletproof.
So, talking about the longevity of the car, we actually borrowed from some consumers,
Right.
10-year-old Priuses to try them out, right?
Right. So we actually we looked at some of the information that we have from our survey, and we actually reached out to some of their members that had Priuses that had over 200,000 miles.
Right.
And we had a first generation and a second generation vehicle we were able to borrow from members of Consumer Reports, and we tested it.
Yeah.
And we figured, hey, let's go run it through the tests. And we looked at fuel economy, and we looked at acceleration, and it was just as good at 200,000 miles than it was when we tested these vehicles brand
That's
new.
impressive. If you told me then, when these cars were new, when that technology just came out, that they would be that, they would go 200,000 miles like that, I wouldn't have believed it.
And when it comes to new technology, there is
Right.
reason to be worried,
Right.
but this is not new technology.
No.
This is pretty proven stuff.
Right. And I think of it, people think about like, well, infotainment and such, that's much more rushed. It's an add-on compared to the drivetrain.
And it's changing much more quickly.
Right.
So I mean, if you look at, again, the hybrid synergy drive that's in this 2018 RAV4, it's probably a lot more similar to the one that was in the first Prius or the second generation Prius than the infotainment system in that RAV4, which keeps on changing and updating.
One thing to think about, the batteries you can get used batteries, you can get replaced ones.
Yeah.
But you really had a point about the cost is probably not on the battery, but
Well, look, I mean,
replacement
if you have a
something else.
200,000-mile car, I mean, you might have a transmission that fails. You might have an engine that fails. And again, it's people, I think about it in two ways. What would it cost to get a brand new engine for my 200,000-mile car? You don't do that. Nobody does that.
yeah.
And you could look up the numbers and say, oh, it's going to cost $4,000 for a brand new engine.
And
You
the car's
source
worth
it-
$1,300.
Right. So either it's at the end of its life, or you get a good used one from a salvage yard, which was
exactly.
what people do actually with the batteries. And you could get rebuilt batteries. I mean, well under $1,000 you can get that, and that's actually it's actually easier to put the new battery in than it is to put the transmission or the engine.
yeah, definitely.
Well, I mean, the key thing, look for the newest one with the most recent safety features. You know, they were standard on the 17 and 18, so those are great ones to buy. But yeah, I think RAV4 hybrid is fine. RAV4 is going to give you great mileage.
Yeah.
The hybrid is just going to answer the questions that you want.
Yep.
So we're going to move on to the next question from Andrew. Hi, CR. I've been a member for 25 years, and I really enjoy the show. Thank you. With oil change intervals on new cars becoming much higher, mileage-wise, have tire rotation intervals increased too? Are tire rotations done more frequently on an all-wheel drive car compared to front or rear-wheel drive cars? Ryan, so kind of an age-old thing. When you change your oil, rotate the tires.
Right.
Valid?
Yeah. So, like he's correct. Oil changes have doubled, tripled,
Right.
in some cases, in mileage. Tires, it's grown a little bit, but the best thing to do is to check your manual, the vehicle's manual. It'll tell you how and when to rotate.
Right. You may cross them or go
Right,
front
so
to back.
and that's important. A front-wheel drive car is rotated differently than a rear-wheel drive car, which is rotated differently than a all-wheel drive car. And if you can't find the mileage in there, or it's an older car, it's safe to say every 6,000 to 8,000 miles. Most tire manufacturers will recommend that. But definitely important to rotate your tires. You'll get even more balanced handling, even wear. It's important.
So what if they have a premature wear on their OEM tires, the original equipment manufactured tires that came on the car? So, they're just unhappy. They rotated them and they just wore out.
Right.
Do they need to stick with those? So to speak?
Right. So you could check our ratings and look, pick something that has a better wear. Maybe it has some strengths in other areas that you would appreciate. Maybe winter traction.
You could use the tire selector.
You could use our new tire selector. That would help you out.
At cr.org.
So you put in your car, and
Right,
it
yeah.
tells you the best tires for your car.
Yeah.
6,000 to 8,000 miles, but what if they want to do it beforehand? What if they particularly, the season, so maybe they put on snow tires, so they're doing it, but what if they're not using it? It's a warm winter, can they do it more often?
So you can rotate every day if you want.
They do rotate every day if you're driving them, right?
Right. You can't over-rotate them. It's just extra work that maybe is not necessary. But I would definitely rotate them. I wouldn't go past 8,000 miles.
Right, so it's almost like, set a time, keep track of it.
Right.
Keep, like they say with your smoke detector, the first Sunday of the month, check it or whatever it is.
Right.
You check the air pressure in your tires and note it, and then at 6,000 miles or so, do that.
Right.
Don't worry about the oil change. That's a separate list.
Unfortunately, now that's a separate thing. Where I think back then people like every 3,000 miles they would change their oil and on the second oil change they would rotate the tires. So
A couple tips. One is, I got a 10-year-old and a 14-year-old. They
there
do
you
it.
go. There you go. Yeah.
So this is kind of like they team up and they rotate the tires on mom's car.
Child
and
labor.
Yeah.
Yes, I do check the torque at the end, but but I mean, like it's a great thing to just kind of start getting your hands dirty because
absolutely.
it's so easy to do. Second of all, check directionality.
Yes.
There's more and more tires
Very
that
important.
if you rotate it, now they're going the wrong direction.
Right. And some
Right,
cars,
they're designed to go one direction, so you have to take them off the wheel if you have to cross and put them on.
in which
the
case you would
the
just
other
leave
way.
them on that side usually.
Right, you just go front to rear.
And some cars are staggered fitment, meaning the rear tires are wider than the front tires, and you can't rotate them.
At that point, you're almost replacing them just because they're worn.
Yeah, those are-
Corvettes, Porsche,
Yeah,
something
that's
like
it.
that.
And
rare
the
cases.
other thing that we do is we have winter tires.
Right.
So
This can cut down on it for
so
some people.
there is no rotation. It's just every time we put on the winter tires, we're putting them on a different
mark
model.
them and put them.
Yeah, just label on the inside of the tire where it was. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Originally.
So there we go. Not on the oil changes. Send us another message. We'll
no
talk
relation.
about oil change intervals. We're going to go to another question here from Malik. Hi, guys. I usually don't refill my car with gas until the gas light comes on and the range drops to under 10 miles. Am I damaging my car by doing this? So my first question is, why do you want to run the risk of running out of gas a lot?
I have anxiety thinking about that.
Yeah, that would
oh my
be-
God, I get below a half a tank.
The
I
light's
freak out.
bad enough, but like watching it go down to 9 and 8, and then all of a sudden it goes fill. and there's
Yeah,
no
or it gives
mark.
you a percentage. Like, that's not good.
But you asked John Ibbotson, our chief mechanic.
Yeah.
This person, by the way, should get an electric car because it's all about range anxiety. But this person has actually surpassed this. They're on a whole new level. They're like, it's a game.
And it's all, and the range just drops, and sometimes you're lucky and you find out you have a little more. Whereas
downhill, you could bring your range up.
or-
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so we were talking about it, like, what's the risk though? What is the risk? Like he was saying, is it sediment in the tank, fuel pump?
Right. So
What did John tell us?
yeah. So he said, modern cars have plastic gas tanks now. They used to have metal gas tanks, and if you ran your tank down, then there would be condensation, moisture.
Right.
You fill the tank up. Now you wash all this rust off the inside of the tank, and now it's sitting at the bottom. It was an issue then. It's less of an issue today. These are very sealed units that you almost can't even get into a lot of these anymore. You're barely replacing fuel sending units and pumps and stuff like that. So the only debris getting in there is coming in when you fill it.
Okay.
Which gas stations have tons of filters now.
Right, and similar plastic tanks that they're putting in the ground
Exactly.
as well.
Yes. So it's a cleaner environment, I think, all around. And then the vehicles there's probably a couple, more than one filter in line before it gets to the engine. I don't think that's an issue anymore. The fuel pump itself, he was saying that if you go around a corner or the engine's stumbling, you're out of gas. You have bigger problems. The fuel pump, it won't hurt the fuel pump because it won't be there. It won't be running without fluid in it long enough. Most pumps like to have fluid in them, otherwise it burns them out. It keeps them cool. The fluid keeps them cool, lubricated, blah blah blah. It's not going to be long enough time for that to really happen in most cases. But you
If
really
he's doing
shouldn't
this every drive.
Yeah, you shouldn't be doing this that often. I mean, if it happens once in a blue moon, it's not the end of the world. But
A lot of cars, some cars only, the light comes on at 30 miles left. So even if Malik has a car like that, maybe at 30 miles, you should fill up the tank and not 10.
We're giving a mixed message here. I mean, the point is that you're not damaging your car. You might be
True.
damaging
I'm
your
just trying to
day.
save him from being stuck inside the road.
Exactly.
But if he wants to do this,
Yeah.
he's not hurting his car, is really the bottom line.
Your parents would want you to fill the car up because
My dad would be
they're worrying about you, Malik.
My dad would be
okay?
very upset.
Yes, because they don't want to have to pick you up on the side of the road. So yes, no damage except to your psyche.
Right.
Fair enough. Our final question is from Steve. I have a son in college who delivers pizzas. Right now, he has a 2001 Chevrolet Prism that's reaching the end of its life. 17 years old. That's pretty good. And I'd like to get him a replacement. Any suggestions for a part-time delivery car?
So the Prism was really a Toyota Corolla. It was kind of badge engineered at the time.
Which is why it's still running.
Which is still why, so really he should get another Corolla,
Right.
right? I mean, Corollas are definitely a good way to go.
Yeah.
Your thoughts, Ryan?
A Corolla.
Yeah.
And I think we talked about this the other day. An old Prius.
Yeah.
True.
Stop and go. if
So,
you're
I mean,
delivering
you could
pizza.
get a 10-year-old Prius or a 12-year-old Prius. I mean, the prices have come down. I mean, my wife's got a 2006 Prius, and, now that the all-wheel drive Prius is coming out, she's all excited about actually replacing this Prius at 150,000 miles. And we're looking at what these cars are worth, and, it's like, $3 or $4 grand.
So 860-555-1212.
So anyone wants to buy
a used Prius.
But it's like, I mean, you look at her car, right? Yeah. I mean, it's 150,000 miles. The thing is mint.
Right.
I mean, no problems on it. I mean, almost looks showroom fresh.
Unlike
and
the
to get a
previous
car
one,
like that,
You've swapped the tires.
and I've swapped the tires. It comes with
with
snow
snow
tires.
tires, yes.
But it's like, what a great car, especially if you're doing pizza delivery where it's like
Stop and go,
Stop and
perhaps,
go.
yeah.
The fuel
Right.
economy is phenomenal. We're still getting 42, 43 miles
And
per
super
gallon.
reliable. So both options would be super reliable.
Yeah.
Corolla,
Yes.
which, I mean, any new one is going to have far better safety features than the old Prism.
Sure.
Right.
So you're going to benefit from there. And Jake's Prius.
Right.
I
but,
mean,
so
Jake's
basically-
Prius.
That's right.
He'll even autograph the plastic cover of the engine.
My wife's Prius, which she keeps it much cleaner than I would have.
We've seen you after the test drive. So on that note, we're going to wrap up this edition of Talking Cars with Consumer Reports. As always, check the show notes below for more information about what we talked about. Again, send those questions to us, talkingcars@icloud.com. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.